What if I told you someone built a house where airplanes park right in their front yard? And what if that person could walk out their door and fly away for dinner? Today, we're going inside the most amazing house you've ever seen. You know John Travolta from movies like Grease and Saturday Night Fever. But here's something crazy. This movie star is worth $250 million, and he spends his money on something most people would never think of. Airplanes. Not just one airplane, but a whole bunch of them. And get this, he bought a house that comes with its own airport. But wait until you see what happened when he almost crashed one of these planes. That story will give you goosebumps. So where do you put a house when you own a bunch of airplanes? Well, John found the perfect place called Jumbolair Aviation Estate in Florida. And when I say it's big, I mean really, really big. This place is 550 acres. To help you understand how huge that is, you could fit 5 Vatican cities inside this area. 5 whole Vatican cities. Back in 2019, all this land was listed for sale for $10.5 million. But the coolest part isn't the size, it's what's built on it. This place has the longest private runway in all of America. It's over 7,500 feet long with lights and everything, just like a real airport. Big planes like Boeing 737s can land here. And here's where it gets really wild. There are 38 houses in this area, and every single house has its own little road that connects to the big runway. Imagine living in a neighborhood where instead of cars and driveways, people have airplanes. But the price of just the runway alone will shock you. It cost $6 million to build back in 1984. That's like $15 million today. This whole place used to be owned by a rich lady who loved horses. Then a guy who made exercise equipment bought it and thought, you know what this needs? A giant airplane runway. He even brought elephants, crocodiles, and gorillas to live there for a while. Can you imagine having breakfast and seeing an elephant walk by your window? Now, here comes the best part. In 2001, John Travolta became one of the first people to buy land in this airplane neighborhood. But he didn't just want any regular house. For 8 whole years, he had been looking for the perfect place where his airplanes could live with him. He bought almost 10 acres of land for $3.5 million. That would be worth $5.2 million today. But buying the land was just the beginning. John built a 7,000 square foot house. That's huge. But here's the coolest part that no other house in the world has. He had workers build a special airplane road that goes right up to his front door. Not close to his house, but actually to his front door. The road even splits into 2 paths around his house, and both paths lead to parking spots for his airplanes. His wife Kelly said it best. It was always John's dream to have planes in his front yard, to be able to step out the door, get on a plane, and fly away to dinner. Wait until you see how planes literally drive up to his front door like cars in a normal driveway. The house was designed so John could see his airplanes from every single room. Whether he's eating breakfast, taking a shower, or sleeping, he can always look out a window and see his planes. The whole house is made of concrete and lots of glass windows. Inside, there are 5 bedrooms and, get this, 2 kitchens. One kitchen is for making big fancy meals, and the other is for quick snacks and simple food. Around these kitchens are 3 different places to eat dinner. Outside, John has a swimming pool with a hot tub. Adding a hot tub when you're building a pool costs an extra $10,000, but when you're worth $250 million, that's like pocket change. Near the pool, he built a special house just for grown-ups to party. John loves to dance, so there's a big open space where people can dance all night. It even has its own bar. Building something like this can cost up to $180,000. And if that wasn't enough, John's property has its own golf course and parking for 16 cars. But cars aren't the main attraction here, it's the airplanes. Now let's talk about John's airplane collection, because this is where things get really crazy. This man has owned so many planes, I can't even count them all. But there's one plane with a story that will amaze you. His most famous airplane is a Boeing 707. When this plane was brand new in 1955, it cost $4.3 million. That would be $42.2 million today. John's plane used to carry regular passengers for an airline in Australia starting in 1964. When the plane was new, it could fit 140 passengers. But John changed the inside to make it super fancy and luxurious. Now it only fits 25 people, but they travel like kings and queens. The plane has its own bedroom with a private bathroom, a kitchen, a dining room, and even a living room. It's like a flying house. John became such good friends with the airline company that they would fix his plane for free as long as he flew it around the world showing off their brand. That's a pretty sweet deal. In 2017, John gave this special plane to a museum in Australia. Just flying the plane to the museum cost $2.3 million. His collection also includes a Bombardier Challenger 601, which he bought in 2011. This was his 11th airplane. Can you imagine owning 11 airplanes? This plane cost $21.4 million to buy. If you wanted to rent it for just 1 hour, it would cost $6,800. For 1 hour! But there's one plane with the scariest story you'll ever hear. John had a Gulfstream II that was worth $5 million. In 1992, something happened that almost ended very badly. John was flying this plane at night from Florida to Maine, going 400 miles per hour. Everything seemed normal until disaster struck. At 41,000 feet up in the sky, above Washington, all the electricity in the plane stopped working. Complete electrical failure. The radio died, the lights went out, and the plane started falling from the sky. Air traffic control couldn't talk to John because his radio was broken. They were so scared that they asked a big commercial airplane nearby, one carrying 182 passengers, to look for John's falling plane. The two airplanes almost crashed into each other. They missed by only 2 miles. That might sound like a lot, but when you're flying at 400 miles per hour, 2 miles is nothing. But here's the amazing part. John is such a good pilot that he managed to land the plane safely with no electricity and no radio. Nobody got hurt. He saved everyone on board using just his flying skills. This story shows that John isn't just rich, he's also brave and really good at flying planes. In 2012, John gave this special plane to the Georgia Aviation Hall of Fame. He did this to honor his son Jet, who died in 2009. It was his way of keeping his son's memory alive. To show you just how much money we're talking about, airports cost incredible amounts to build. Even the most expensive ones cost billions of dollars. That's enough money to buy John's entire airplane collection many times over. But even with all that money spent on that airport, John still has something they don't: airplanes parked in his front yard. John isn't the only celebrity living this incredible aviation lifestyle. Jumbolair Aviation Estate attracts other celebrities and high-profile entrepreneurs who share this passion for aviation luxury. Florida alone has over 70 residential air parks, with communities like Spruce Creek near Daytona Beach housing nearly 5,000 residents and 700 private hangars. These exclusive fly-in communities are becoming increasingly popular among business executives who value the ultimate convenience, stepping out of their home and taking off within minutes. There are now more than 630 fly-in communities worldwide, with properties ranging from affordable condos to multi-million-dollar estates. But John's setup remains one of the most spectacular, where he can literally taxi his jets right up to his doorstep in what's truly a lifestyle most can only dream of. So there you have it, the secret world of tech billionaire luxury in 2025. We've got $500 million boats that are bigger than most apartment buildings, underground bunkers with fake sunlight, private islands, houses surrounded by fire moats, billion-dollar investments in trying to live forever, and literal trips to space for fun. The craziest part below. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing airplane house, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I have more incredible stories about how rich people live, that underground bunker, the fire moat, or maybe the fact that they can just buy trips to space